Welcome to Screen Hollywood, the home of movie news and entertainment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Welcome back to Screen Hollywood. I'm Adam. If you're new here, welcome to the Hollywood family. Hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and hype button. And bookmark and subscribe to our international news site at screenhollywood.com. Today, we need to talk about the power of Grayskull. Because after years of being stuck in a developmental black hole, the live-action Masters of the Universe reboot is finally showing its face. We just got a massive reveal via Empire magazine, and I spent the morning digging through the stills, the interviews, and the absolute firestorm of fan reactions currently taking over social media. Now, if you've been following the channel, you know we've spent a lot of time discussing the panic at Disney and Marvel. We've seen the fatigue, the billions lost on woke reboots, and the general feeling that the golden age of blockbusters is over. But Amazon MGM is taking a massive swing here. They aren't just making a movie, they are trying to launch a universe. But here is the million-dollar question. Can a guy in a fur loincloth still draw a crowd in 2026? Travis Knight, the director who gave us Bumblebee, seems to think so. But he's making some choices that have left the hardcore fan base divided. From a shocking lore swap involving Castle Grayskull to the controversial casting of our new Prince Adam, there is a lot to unpack. So let's get into the good, the bad, and the he-boy of it all. Let's start with the biggest lore change that has sent Reddit into a tailspin. In almost every version of the story we've known for 40 years, Castle Grayskull is the fortress He-Man protects, while Skeletor plots from the jagged peaks of Snake Mountain. Well, Travis Knight is flipping that on its head. The new plot synopsis and the Empire reveals confirm that in this version, Prince Adam has been away from Eternia for 15 years. When he finally returns, he finds his world shattered and under the iron-fisted rule of Skeletor. But here's the kicker. Skeletor isn't attacking the castle, he's already in it. He has taken up residence inside the iconic skull-faced fortress. This changes the entire dynamic of the story. It turns He-Man into a revolutionary, an underdog trying to reclaim a lost legacy rather than a guardian defending a status quo. Visually, the new Castle Grayskull looks terrifying. It's gothic, imposing, and feels more like a tomb than a mystery. While I'm usually wary of lore changes for the sake of being different, I have to admit, seeing Skeletor inside the castle from frame 1 sets a stakes level that we haven't seen before. The good guys have already lost, and the movie is about the climb back. However, not everyone is sold on this new vision, and most of that skepticism is directed squarely at Nicholas Galitzine. Let's be real. He-Man is one of the most physically iconic characters in history. He is the strongest man in the universe. And for a lot of fans, Galitzine just isn't cutting it. I've seen the comments online, and some critics are already labeling him he-boy. Ouch, that's harsh, man. The pressure on this young actor is immense. He's not just filling the broad shoulders of a cartoon character, he's filling the boots of the Scandinavian giant Dolph Lundgren. Now, we can debate the quality of the 1987 film all day. It was a box office failure, but everyone agrees on one thing. Lundgren was He-Man. He was a 6'5", blonde, chiseled, and packed with the kind of muscle that made you believe he could punch a hole through a mountain. Galitzine, by comparison, feels like a much more modern and leaner adaptation. In his interview, he talked about the daunting task of matching that physique, calling it the most difficult 5 months of his life. He's focused on the empathy of Prince Adam, trying to give the character a soul rather than just a bicep. But for the fans who grew up with the power gallery of the 80s, empathy isn't what they're looking for. They want a titan. If he doesn't look convincing as the strongest man in existence, the whole house of cards falls down. Right now, I think the jury is still out. He looks good, but does he look Masters of the Universe good? I'm not so sure yet. On the flip side of the casting debate, we have Alison Brie as Evil Lynn. And let me tell you, when I saw the photo of her in costume, my jaw hit the floor. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Evil Lynn is one of the most underrated villains in fantasy, and Brie seems to have captured that icy, cold mood perfectly. She looks like she stepped right out of the classic character designs. She has that sharp, calculating stare that tells you she's probably the smartest person in any room, and definitely the most dangerous. Unlike the concerns I have with the he-boy look, Evil Lyn feels authentic. She captures the feel of Eternia without looking like she's wearing a cheap cosplay. She looks formidable, magical, and genuinely menacing. It's a huge win for the production, and it shows that when they want to stay true to the classic aesthetic, they absolutely can. Then we have Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms. This is a brilliant piece of casting. Elba is a powerhouse, and seeing him as the battle-hardened general and advisor to Prince Adam gives the movie some much-needed gravitas. Interestingly, Idris shared a personal connection to the role. He mentioned that Masters of the Universe was his childhood franchise because his family couldn't afford the more expensive Star Wars toys. He grew up with the campy cartoons and the out-there designs. But even a man like Idris Elba felt the pressure of the Eternia look. He joked that after seeing Travis Knight's vision, his first thought was, "I've got to get back to the gym." It's clear the cast is taking the physicality seriously, even if the fans are still skeptical. The balance they're trying to strike is camp versus gravitas. Travis Knight explicitly stated that he is embracing the inherent silliness of the world. He isn't embarrassed by the stupid names like Fisto or Stinkor. He thinks the silliness is a virtue. This is the opposite of the Marvel approach, where every comic book element has to be met with a wink or a self-deprecating joke. Knight is leaning in, and I respect that. Now we have to discuss the villain of the piece, Jared Leto as Skeletor. Leto is always a wild card, but Knight's take on him is very specific. He described this version of Skeletor as the personification of toxic masculinity. Now, before everyone rolls their eyes at that buzzword, think about the character. Skeletor is defined by ego, entitlement, and a might makes right philosophy. He is obsessed with power for the sake of power. By positioning Adam as a character of empathy and Skeletor as a character of entitlement, Knight is trying to give the movie a thematic core that goes beyond just swinging swords. Leto is the kind of actor who will go to the extreme with a role like this. If he plays it straight, menacing, entitled, and powerful, it could be one of the best villain turns we've seen in years. But again, it's a risk. Everything about this movie feels like a risk. One thing that really stands out to me in these Empire covers is the texture. Unlike the current crop of Disney and Marvel films that feel like they were shot in a sterile digital void, Masters of the Universe has a handmade quality to it. The costumes look heavy. The world looks like it has history. It doesn't look like a blurry CGI soup. Travis Knight has a background in stop-motion animation with Laika, and you can see that sensibility bleeding through. He understands that for a world like Eternia to work, it has to feel tangible. It has to feel real, even if it's ridiculous. This is what I find so interesting about the current state of Hollywood. While Marvel is frantically trying to figure out how to squeeze $2.5 billion out of nostalgia for Avengers Doomsday, Amazon is building something from the ground up that actually looks like it has a soul. They aren't just checking boxes. They are letting a director with a specific vision take the reins. So, where does that leave us? Masters of the Universe opens on June 5th, 2026. The pressure is on, not just for the studio, but for the genre as a whole. I'm genuinely torn. On one hand, I love the look of Evil Lyn and the bold choice to put Skeletor in Grayskull. I love that Travis Knight is embracing the camp instead of being ashamed of it. But on the other hand, the he-boy factor is real. Nicholas Galitzine has a mountain to climb if he wants to convince the world he's the successor to the Scandinavian giant Dolph Lundgren. He-Man needs to be more than just empathetic. He needs to be an icon of strength. Can this movie overcome the fan skepticism and the go woke, go broke baggage that has sunk so many other franchises? Or is it destined to be another beautiful failure like the '87 original? I want to hear from you. Are you sold on Galitzine as the strongest man in the universe? Or are you firmly in the Lundgren was better camp? What do you think of Skeletor taking over Grayskull? And how do you feel about Alison Brie's Evil Lyn? Drop a comment down below and let's get the debate started. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Screen Hollywood for more first-person reviews and industry analysis. I'm Adam, and I'll see you in the next one.